Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am the Purple Fashionista. A few weeks ago, my neighbor brought over this storage bench, and I knew exactly what I wanted to do with it. To see it go from drab to fab, please stick around. So first and foremost, we want to go ahead, and this fabric shed a lot. So I went ahead and got my trusty vacuum and went ahead and vacuumed up the stray, any of the fur that was like shedding. So I wanted to get rid of it, and this helped a little bit. I won't say it helped a lot, but it did help a little bit. So I went ahead and vacuumed that up. For supplies, you will need about a half to three quarters of a yard of fabric. I chose fur, but you could choose whatever you like. Your vacuum, a screwdriver, pliers, and a staple gun. Also optional, if you want to paint it, you can definitely do that. The wood kind of matched with my kitchen and dining room, so I wanted the area to kind of flow through, so I didn't change mine, but that is definitely an option. And last but not least, please wear protection, eyes and hands. I scratched myself up and those staples popped everywhere. So like I said, it is a storage bench, so it opens up and you can like store, I guess, magazines or whatever in there. And so I was like, this is the perfect thing to go ahead and reupholster. So the first thing you want to do is take those screws and then unscrew them. And here I'm actually taking the staples out, and I'm showing you those staples coming on out of there. I'm going to tell you right now, it was very, very taxing to get the staples out, and it took me forever. I literally had to take a break, a whole day break, and then come back because I was not trying to do it all in one day. But I did find the easy way. And that is this way right here. I use my little case knife, and I would wiggle it and see if I could get the staple to come undone. And then when it was stuck like this, I would just take some pliers and pull it out. And that seemed to be the easiest way for me. So the fabric that I got was just a remnant from one of my little upholstery stores, and so that's why it's not like a full piece. It's like three quarters. And so then you just go ahead and measure out the right amount. And I went ahead and used some regular straight pins to pin it in place so that when I turned it over, I was able to just go in and use my staple gun and be done with the whole thing. So I'm making sure that everything is fitting right, making sure that it's nice and tight. If any of you know me, I'm an environmentalist, so the less waste that I produce, the happier that I am. So I try to make it like really skimpy and really close to the edge. Um, so that way I don't have to worry about wasting too much because this fur had no other use. The remaining fur I'm actually going to make like a little throw over for my vanity chair. So here I'm stapling it. One trick that I found was if you pull the fur back like I'm doing here, and it'll hide the staple so nobody will even ever know. So when I first took this off, that little piece of footage got deleted, or I don't know if I just didn't hit the record button. But when I first took it off, there was this little white little covering, and I pulled that piece off because it hid the staples from the original fabric. But with the fur, because it's already so bulky, then I found that there was no need, because if you pull the fur back enough and like I'm doing, like scruffing it, moving it out the way and then stapling it, you really don't have to worry about the staples even being seen. I'm not sure why you would worry about it anyway, because who's ever gonna look in the storage bench? It's a storage bench, so it's kind of made for stuff people shouldn't even see anyway. So on the corners, I go ahead and fold those together, and then the little piece that was hanging, just fold it down and staple that piece on the end. So here you can see where I'm like just pulling the fur out so that you can't see the staples. When it was time for the other side, I basically just made sure I folded over the fabric and I tried to measure as best as possible, so that I could then trim the fur that I did not need. So I went ahead and got my scissors and kind of just cut all willy-nilly. And I didn't even really think about like fur missing. I knew I was going to have some hairs that were going to like escape, and it didn't bother me because I wasn't about to turn this over and do this all again. And that's what I'm doing here, just cutting it. A nice way that I figured out how to kind of clean this up was to have my vacuum handy, and then just go through and use the nozzle and clean that up, and then also clean up the hair from where you cut the fur as well. So it's a really cool trick. So now when I go ahead, I just do the same thing. You just go ahead, you staple that guy on up there. Make sure, here you can see me actually pulling the hairs out the way and then stapling and then hiding it, um, kind of mitering the corners, cutting off fur. And yeah, that's kind of it for that. That vacuum came in so handy, I have no idea. Like, it legit was like a lifesaver. And then also it's cleaning up the mess as you're making it, so then the mess is not there when you're done. And I do that. I try to do that in everything, cooking, DIY, and everything. So here you can see me using my pins to go ahead and put it in place. And then a nice little thing that I found on how to even cut that fabric without the, shedding so much hair, was to go ahead and pull the hair apart, as you can see here. Pull it apart, pull it out the way as best you can. You're still going to have some hairs that are going to get cut in the process because, nobody's perfect and nobody's going to get it all right. But you go ahead and pull those hairs apart. I found that shorter lengths were the best. At first, I was just trying to go through like all of it and do it. And I was like, it's not going to work. So I went ahead and did it little at a time. You just make sure you part the hairs, kind of like you're parting hair. I don't know if you want to use a comb for this. You could. I don't know. I didn't try it. But just pull the hairs apart and then you cut them that way. This also reduces the amount of fur you'll have that sheds. So if that's a concern of yours, you just don't want too much hair shedding, then this trick will work for that. So to finish, I go ahead and tuck my corners. And then what I also did was the fur kind of covered up where I would have screwed the screws back in, for the hinges. And so I just went ahead and cut space out for them because I wasn't trying to screw through. And this is the final look. I have to say I am very, very impressed with how it came out. Here I'm just preparing the stool to have the bench or the top piece put back on it. It had been sitting around, so I just decided to wipe it off. And again, it was donated. So who knows what was on it. And here I am just screwing the hinges back on. And I mean, basically, that is all. It's basically finished. I'm very, very excited. And here is the final product. I put this at the end of my hallway near my huge vanity mirror. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope this was helpful to you or provided some inspiration. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next week.